Sydney's 2GB 873. You're listening to Australia Overnight with Clinton Maynard, right across the country.
Over the last couple of weeks, we've spoken a fair bit on the program about particularly the concerns in the United States about EVs and whether, particularly those made in China, and it's become a bit of an election issue there, whether there is the ability for instance, the Chinese Communist Party to spy via the technology that's in a Chinese-made electric vehicle, and that may be extended to EVs made anywhere. But do you think about the number of devices, now home appliances, that you have connected to the internet? Are they safe? We've got a fridge we purchased about 6 months ago, and it's connected to the net. We get a message on the smartphone about whether the door's been left open too long. But could this technology be misused? Steve Stevens is a tech expert, a futurist, and can shed a lot of light on this subject. Thanks for your time.
Yeah, welcome.
It's just extraordinary that the number of, I guess you would term, smart devices we now have around the home. Just first, before we get on to the spying issue, why are so many appliances now connected to the internet? Why do they need to be connected to the internet?
Oh, it's basically all about data, and we want a simple life. So to use your example with the fridge, there are different brands of fridges. I think there's a Samsung model that has a camera inside that'll know when you've run out of milk. We're not so connected in Australia, but in the US, you can actually tell your fridge that when your milk is running low or certain other products, then automatically order it for you. So you'll go to the front door and there'll be milk there and you'll go, oh, I didn't realize I needed milk because your fridge has ordered it for you. So how does the robot vacuum cleaner not fall down the stairs? How does all these different devices without the sensors? And that's the problem, is we want simple.
Yeah, and look, we're probably a bit behind the times at our house, but when you start to think about it, yes, we have all the phones, computers, and those sort of devices hooked up, but you mentioned robot vacuum cleaner. We've had one of those now for years. And to be honest, it's brilliant. The fridge is now smart, and it probably does help us out. It probably makes our life a bit easier.
They all make our life easier, but the problem is it's like anything that you connect to the internet. There's the risk of it being misused.
Yep.
Everything that we do and everything that we make smart is good. Like when first cars came in 1901, it took us until 1970 to bring in a law saying you should wear a seatbelt. So how long, all these products that we're going to get that have got so many cameras and microphones, how long is it going to take us to learn in this cycle before new laws come in where the government's maybe put requirements on the vendors?
So where do you think the security risks are? Where are we vulnerable with this stuff?
Oh, everywhere. I mean, I'm sitting in my office, and earlier on I was trying to think, okay, I'm going to do an interview, so I should turn off the devices so they can't constantly respond to me. And I'm like, okay, there's one over there, and I realise I've got 4 cameras, 8 microphones. I'm surrounded by these things. Now, if they do what they're supposed to do and they're not misused and abused, they're perfect for us. They help our lives. I talk to Alexa. I go, what's the weather? And I ask her information. I wander around the house. I've got like 2 devices in pretty much every room, including bathrooms in the house. So I can just talk to the air wherever I am. Turn on the lights. Do this. What's the weather today? What's the news? And all those kinds of things. They make our life easy, but it's when the data that they collect, or as you go about your day, it's when that can be misused and it can be misused, not just in a bug or from a hacker, but they can even be misused by other people in our lives.
So that the information that is collected, for instance, we mentioned these fridges in the United States that know when you're running out of the milk, but that could be extended to your buying habits. And I guess that happens in supermarkets already through the loyalty schemes. But then that information, it could be on-sold to other companies? Yeah,
I mean, I'm caught about that. Like, I used to shop at Woolworths a lot, and I use your everyday rewards card. And one day in the post, and I'm a bald guy, and I shaved my head.
Yep.
And one day in the post, a new pack of razors was sent to me by whichever supplier, and it was like the new 5-blade thing. And I was like, why? And it was like, well, you notice that you buy these, so would you like to try this? And you know what? I've never turned back. We want these things in our life. We want things to be given to us simply. It's about, we need choice of the information. Can we opt out And you can't opt out in many situations. Like if a shopping centre is observing what people are buying, and like they do, like that, so Coles and Woolies know where to position things on shelves, and now they've even got cameras saying where do you look, so where they place things correctly and at which end of the aisles, and the amount of data that these people collect is absolutely amazing. But how do they misuse it? Are they identifying it to a person? Are they identifying it to you're a 52-year-old man, you're 5'10", you wear Polo Ralph Lauren shirts, and they can actually absorb all that information. There is more information that they collect than you could possibly imagine.
What about cameras? Now, cameras are now in almost everything in some way. Is there a big risk surrounding where that vision could go?
Yes. So there's two negatives, I always say. There's the misuse by the actual vendor. So there's been multiple breaches and most of the vendors have them, like Ring Cameras, which is owned by Amazon, and a few of the other suppliers. They've all had big breaches where either the data itself was able to be accessed remotely, or their internal staff were misusing it and looking at things. And if you've got cameras, like I've got Alexas with screens on either side of the bedroom, and they've both got cameras, but thankfully Amazon has that little switch you put there, so it's a physical switch that they can't turn it on. So I always make sure the bedroom ones do not have those turned on. But since I have them in the rest of the house, there is a lot of footage in theory going out and about everywhere about me. Like the one that we have in the kitchen has facial recognition, so when I walk past, my calendar and everything automatically pop up. But if my wife walks past, her calendar pops up. So it's doing facial recognition. So it knows when it's her or me. And that data, to do its job, it needs to have that data. But can that be misused? And absolutely, if it gets hacked. Some of the big companies are very good at trying to protect it, but they can only protect about what they know. They can't protect about how bad it is. So that's the vendor side of it. The other negative side is domestic violence, coercive control, people watching. Like people just think, oh, isn't that cute? You're watching your pet. And now even Bunnings even sells a new pet feeder with a camera in it that you can just log in from anywhere on the planet and just look at your cat and even talk to your cat. So that obviously extends out to children, babysitters, cleaners in your house, your wife. And if the people and the use of high tech like these things in those situations is going to become a lot more. I mean, how will your 15-year-old son or daughter respond if you sit there and they walk in the house and you pop up and you go, "Hey, I told you, get away from the refrigerator." And then it's like, "Mom, stop watching me. Stop watching me." Yeah. Is that a violation of is that a violation in your own home? It's your home. But that gets very complicated.
Absolute Pandora's box. I've got kids of that age. And so we just, and I know a lot of families have already done this, but we've just put a camera at the front of the house for the first time. And so it actually starts making you think that, my wife's going to know when I go out to the garbage bin now. Like I'm going to hide something in the garbage and know I've gone out there.
She's going to know if you had a sneaky fag around the corner, or if you're talking to the neighbour over the fence. Exactly. And there's one actually aspect about the door cams that do concern me is that, and as most people know in Australia, you can video anywhere you want, but audio is against most laws, right? Like recording someone without their knowledge is a massive breach of the law. Yet, all these people with door cams, especially in apartment buildings and things like that, they're all recording audio. So technically, most people that have a door cam that you can actually listen in are committing an offence.
Yep. Yeah.
But that doesn't stop anybody, but it also doesn't make people don't realise they're actually committing an offence by remotely, even where they could be anywhere on the planet, going to their front door cam, their smart door cam, and listening to the neighbours have a conversation outside.
Absolute Pandora's box. There'll be a lot of developments, I think, on this in the coming years. Thank you for your time, Skeeve.
No problem.
It's a big issue, this one. Skeeve Stevens, who's a futurist and a tech expert.
Agatha Christie's breathtaking masterpiece. And Then There Were None. This best-selling crime novel of all time is now a brand new stage production. a tale of 10 strangers lured to a solitary mansion off the English coast. And Then There Were None, directed by Robin Nevin. Opens May at Theatre Royal Sydney. Book at andthentherenone.com.au.
This podcast is proudly brought to you by Ladbrokes. Have you heard about Ladbrokes Racing Club? Ladbrokes is partnering with some of the country's leading trainers and jockeys to give punters the ownership experience through their stable of over 30 thoroughbred, greyhound and harness runners. Ladbrokes Racing Club members get the opportunity to name new runners and follow their progress from day one all through the Ladbrokes app. Join the Ladbrokes Racing Club today. Chances are you're about to lose. For free and confidential support, visit gamblinghelponline.org.au.